It was a very different land 150 years ago. Canada was a growing, industrializing nation, and hundreds of thousands of new immigrants were arriving year after year. We needed coal, we needed steel, we needed iron, we needed rail, we needed homes and hospitals and bridges and public buildings. And the working class was there. And as they did the work that would make Canada what it is today, people were dying. 1891, 125 coal miners died in Spring Hill, Nova Scotia. 1907, the Quebec Bridge collapsed, killing 75 iron workers. 1914, 189 coal miners died in Hillcrest, Alberta. 1931, 28 sealers and filmmakers died on the SS Viking in my home province of Newfoundland and Labrador. 1957, what will become Iron Workers Memorial Bridge collapsed in the Port of Vancouver, killing 18 iron workers and 1 diver searching for their remains. Trade unions were illegal until 1872. Collective bargaining wasn't a legal right until the 1940s. To unite and demand better would have meant unemployment or jail at the time. To strike and demonstrate meant violence and being convicted of inciting revolution, like in the case of the Winnipeg General Strike. Not only was the working class building Canada, building a home for generations to come, but with their organizing, workers and unions were building something even more important in the end. They were building the middle class. And to me, that's the story of Canada. Workers new to this land with nothing but their work ethic and the skill of their hands, making this country what it is right now, always fighting for better. So we could have not just a nation of laborers, but a home with jobs that could support families, jobs that fathers and mothers came home safe from, that could enable freedom and make this one of the happiest countries on earth. The middle class makes Canada and our democracy what it is today, and unions invented the middle class. Labor organizing is the difference between profit being generated by corporations and prosperity being shared by people. And think how politically effective it has been over the past 3 decades to subdivide the common good, to create bespoke incentives to slivers of the population, slivers who vote, mind you, to gain and hold power. How effective it was for previous governments to limit your ability to support the common good by making it harder to assert your constitutional rights and more difficult for you to collectively bargain. I think about that an awful lot. And I think about what we have done to fight against that. One of the first things we did when we took government was to repeal 2 conservative federal laws that made it harder for new unions to certify and forced you to disclose your finances so that employers knew exactly what cards you were holding when you went to the bargaining table. We made sure collective bargaining was free and fair because collective bargaining is what built the middle class. We got rid of those laws, and now we're going to ban replacement workers. That is a priority for you, so therefore it is a priority for us. On the issue of contract flipping in our airports, we made sure that the Canada Labour Code protects airport workers from the effects of contract flipping. We know, look, you have a lot more to say on that matter. Let me just say that we're listening. On ILO 190, the Convention on the Elimination of Violence and Harassment in the World of Work, we've been working to get the support of all provinces and territories for its ratification. And I can stand before you and say that we have that now. We have it. We have that now. So I'll be working with the Minister of Foreign Affairs as we move it to the next stage, because I know that one is really important to you too. So it's just a few examples of the work that's going on behind the scenes, work that we're building consensus on, work that we're doing right across party lines, legislation we have worked to pass unanimously like Bill C-3 that brought in paid sick leave. This work doesn't happen by accident. It often happens under the radar. That's how I operate. I said from the moment I entered politics that I'm not here for the show, I'm here to do the job. People thought they were getting the television guy. They kind of were. But Lana knows that actually it's been many years in the provincial government and at negotiating tables with First Nations, working as a policy advisor for the Premier, and just went on this unbelievable journey as a journalist for 15 years. But now I'm back to where I began, in the thick of it. I'm here to do the job, from supporting parties at the deal-making table to making sure the economy works for workers and not just for the wealthy. But we won't do any of this work without you, without workers or the people fighting for workers. We are fighting for them too, because workers deserve fair pay, safe work, and the chance to put their tools down and get a bit of rest at the end of the day. You deserve, and I feel very, very strongly about this, you deserve to have your mental health taken seriously by your employers. You deserve to have menstrual products available on the job because no one goes to work bringing their own toilet paper. You deserve equal pay for work of equal value. And we need to do more to welcome everyone into skilled work. Women, people with disabilities, Indigenous peoples, gay, lesbian, trans people, because when you include everyone, you get the best. Who is going to build the homes that Canadians desperately need right now? Who is going to retrofit our grid, lower emissions, and build up renewable energy? Who is going to grow and adapt our auto sector to lower commuter emissions? Who is going to make sure that the goods entering the Port of Vancouver get to families and manufacturers in Calgary, Winnipeg, Toronto, Quebec? All of this is workers. Capital doesn't load rail cars or assemble vehicles or build communities. You do that. And you take a leadership role in the labour movement beyond Canada, too. This spring, I was with your representatives in Geneva for the International Labour Conference. We pushed for progress for workers around the world, including the eradication of forced labour. And that's not all you're doing internationally. You're also supporting workers in Mexico under our shared trade agreement. We dedicated $5 million to your work in Mexico, supporting the labor movement there as one of our CUSMA partners by strengthening labor law application and by strengthening authentic independent unions. And you are delivering. I understand there's a delegation here today from Mexico, including Alejandra Morales Reynoso, who received the Nelson Mandela Award yesterday for her social justice work, specifically her work on free and fair bargaining rights for workers at the GM plant in Silao. So let us give her some applause. Your work extends beyond Canada's borders. You helped us show the Americans how integrated our supply chains and our workers are, not just throughout the CUSMA negotiations, but also just recently on the topic of electric vehicles. You're fighting for good jobs in Canada. You're doing it around the world, too. It also means that immigration and labor mobility are on your mind, especially in light of labor shortages in this country. And we have got our immigration minister, Sean Fraser, here. Look, you can bet we are working closely on those issues. Thank you, Sean, by the way. Your priorities are our priorities. Building and growing the middle class. Making sure that the middle class is healthier, happier, safer. That is the shared mission of progressive politics, progressive business leaders, labor unions. And Unifor is one hell of a partner in that mission. The election of Lana is a historic moment for this union. It is a statement that Unifor is serious about representing not just the interests of its members, but the common interests of all Canadians. That is a shared mission that we can get behind. That is a shared mission that we can partner with, because it provides for a healthier, happier, safer middle class, a better Canada, a brighter future. Thank you. Thank you for your work. And thank you for listening to me. Merci beaucoup.